Welcome back everyone. You may be in a weird situation, or you may just want to find out how to even determine if you have a fake iPhone, or if you just saw something on eBay and you don't know if it's too good to be true or whatever the case is. I'll go ahead and kind of break down certain situations and even tell you how to determine whether an iPhone is fake or not. Now, I've bought 50,000 phones in my lifetime probably, and I've bought a lot of those online, and I can definitely tell you right now, the amount of phones that are out there that are fake are very, very few. So chances are if you bought an iPhone and if the title or the description didn't say this is an, non-genuine or non-authentic or whatever the case is, then chances are you have a real iPhone, but there may be something broken with it. There may be broken parts about it. And those are the type of things you want to check out the description, because a fake iPhone is not the same as a real iPhone with fake parts. So if you bought like a fake iPhone, then that means like the phone I'm showing you now with 4 cameras on the back, or a phone that has a massive chin on the bottom that's not supposed to have a massive chin, then those type of phones genuinely are the fake ones. These things come from, these things you can buy for like $100. Like I've bought several fake iPhones just, to compare it to new ones. And I can definitely tell you right now, those things are really easy to determine if they're fake, but it's harder to determine if a real iPhone, such as an iPhone XS, for example, has a fake part within it. So those two things are totally different. And I'm not going to be explaining exactly, things to look out for a fake phone. For a real iPhone with fake parts, I've made several videos on that. I'll try to link one down below if I remember. But a lot of things can be fake within a phone, such as screens, batteries, cameras, all these different things. They could be replaced with non-OEM parts or non-authentic parts. And this could basically mean that the phone itself is actually kind of fake more so than not. So that's a pretty big thing to kind of keep in mind. Now, continuing on, the very first thing I would recommend doing is to ask the seller or ask whatever, or if you have the phone in your possession, to look for the IMEI number or the serial number of that device. Now, because in this case we're looking at fake iPhones, we want to go ahead and go to really any ESN checker. We can go to Swappa, we can go to Apple's serial number checker on their websites, and all we want to do is type in that serial number or IMEI or ESN number into those designated spots and actually see if that serial number matches up with the phone that you're trying to buy. Now, if you type in that serial number on your iPhone onto Apple's serial number checker and it comes back that this is an invalid serial number or whatever the case is, then chances are it's actually a complete fake iPhone. But I would recommend you actually double checking that serial number, making sure you typed in the same one. If it actually came back and it is a real iPhone and it matches with the phone that you have in your hand, then chances are it's actually a real iPhone and there may be another issue with the device. But if it comes back and it says it's an iPhone 10, but you bought an iPhone 11 or something like that, then obviously you want to go ahead and verify all that other information, and you may want to get back with the seller and actually determine whether it's a real iPhone or a fake iPhone or something like that. Now, if you didn't even buy the iPhone yet and you're just looking at the photos and stuff, and it's like a iPhone 12 Pro Max that someone's selling for $150 or $200, then I would not recommend buying it. That's going to be a scam. Some person probably stole it, or it is genuinely a fake iPhone, and it would not make any sense to take a risk on something like that. I would stay away from those type of listings. I've seen those type of listings for years now, and it just does not make any sense to purchase those unless it's like 4 parts or there's some, broken piece in it or has a busted screen or something, and then they're selling it for $200. But if they're selling it, it's like a brand new iPhone, do not buy it. It's a scam, and it's probably not going to work, or it's going to actually be a fake iPhone at that matter. Now, another way to determine if you have a fake iPhone is to actually see if the box matches up with which iPhone it actually is. So I'm sure you guys can just look up on Google. If you bought an iPhone 10, look up an iPhone 10 box and make sure that that box matches up with that phone. If I've seen a ton of fake iPhones out there that actually showcases that the box itself does not match up with the phone itself. And I've even covered tons of fake iPhones. These new batch of iPhone 12s, with the last batch, actually they kept that same width of that box. They still added ear pods and the brick and everything like that, but Apple removed those. So if you bought an iPhone 12 or 12 Pro or 12 Pro Max or whatever, and it still comes in the box with those things besides just the charger, then chances are you actually bought a fake iPhone and you will have to probably return it. But that's not every case. If you bought an iPhone 11, it could still have all the, boxes and chargers and everything within it. So that's why I would recommend Googling it up and then determining from there and making sure that the box itself matches up with the phone that you just bought. Because even with the iPhone 12 Pro Max clone that I bought, the box does not match up with the clone itself. It doesn't match up with the 12 Pro Max box. It matches up with the 11 Pro Max box. So that's a really easy way to determine, even if it's sealed up or whatever, making sure that that box matches up with the title of that device. If it doesn't, then I would recommend staying away from it. Another way to determine if you have a clone or a fake version of that phone is to actually match up the chins on the bottom. So for a majority of iPhones out there, not including the 6 Pluses and the 8 Pluses and stuff, but for these new gesture-based iPhones with, no home button or anything with Face ID, they have pretty much a symmetrical bezel all around the display. So it's not like there's a super big chin or there's like a huge notch that covers the whole thing. The only bezel it has pretty much is on the top with the notch, and all these clones that I've had for the most part still have chins on the bottom. So if you look at a photo of an iPhone and you already assume it's kind of like a clone and they're cutting out the chin for some reason, I would recommend requesting for more photos in that specific situation and, asking the seller, if you can go ahead and send you the serial number or the IMEI number, as well as photos of the chin, photos of the body. If you can see that the chin and the notch are symmetrical and they look actual, then you're probably set. If it doesn't showcase that, then that probably means that it's a clone for some reason. So that's another really big thing to keep in mind as well. Now, if you have the iPhone, the fake one, in your possession, then what I would recommend you doing is actually rebooting that iPhone. And once you do that, you want to go ahead and really look at it when you turn it back on. And if it does show up the Apple logo, but it's like the black screen on a white phone. So if you don't know this, basically the splash screen, when you boot up that iPhone, it correlates with what color that phone is. So if you buy a white iPhone, it's going to show you a white splash screen with a black Apple logo. If you buy a black iPhone, and I think a gold one as well, it'll show you a black splash screen with a white Apple logo. So if you boot it up and you have a black phone or a gold phone, but it shows you a black Apple logo with a white screen, then chances are that display was moved, or the whole body was moved and it has a, non-OEM screen. So that's another thing to kind of watch out for. But if it does show you an Apple logo, then chances are it may be more real than not. But there's still a ton of clones out there that perfected that Apple logo situation. If it doesn't show you an Apple logo and it shows you some random weird stuff, or it shows you a Samsung logo or something like that, then chances are it's not in an authentic iPhone. And that's another super easy thing to kind of watch out for. Now, if you have the iPhone in your possession, another thing what I would recommend doing is actually making your way over to your settings app. You want to go ahead and go to your general setting, and you want to see if you can actually swipe back. Some things and most clones out there have not perfected that swipe back gesture. So if you have one of the more current iPhones, such as an iPhone 10 or something, you should be able to swipe on the side of the screen and swipe back to the main panel. If you can't do that, then chances are it's probably a clone. If you are able to do that, then probably is okay. And I would recommend recognizing the overall UI and making sure it's a smooth experience overall, because most iPhones are like that. If you're able to go and swipe back, then you're probably set. But while you're in the general settings, what I would recommend doing is clicking on the software update option and seeing if there's a software update available. If you're still stuck on like iOS 13 or iOS 14.2 or something like that, and there's a new update available, such as iOS 14.3 or something in the future, but you're stuck on an older version, then there could be an issue with the phone itself, but there also could mean that it is a clone. Most clones, and every single clone I've ever gotten, has never gotten a software update, because it's not a genuine iOS product. It's a third-party product and it's just running Android for the most part. So what I would recommend doing is actually going through and seeing if there's an update for it. If there is, then I would recommend updating. If there's not an update, then obviously you're going to pretty much have to determine if it's a phone problem or if it's a clone problem. Most probably it's a phone problem, but if you assume it's a clone and everything else I mentioned in this video doesn't match up, then I would recommend contacting the seller, because you may have a fake iPhone. So that really pretty much covers it up for the most part. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys can hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my other channels. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.